My name is Elizabeth Jones. I am a teaching fellow in economics, and I teach on the two core first year economics modules, so economic principles and economics for business. So we have approximately 800 students across both modules, sort of split reasonably equally, with projections for next year to be over 1,000. So it's a very, very large group of students and a very mixed ability group. So a large number of international students and also a large number of students who have got economics A-level and some who haven't got economics A-level, some with maths A-level, some without. So it's a very, very diverse group of students, a very large group of students, and hence we're encouraged and saw the opportunity to use Echo360 to try and aid our teaching of it and to aid the revision for the students and sort of to match the ability of the students so that they can come and review the lectures and work at their own pace. So we have a huge number of international students, I think a growing number as well, and so in the lectures it's very difficult to try and deliver a pace that's suitable for everyone. And I think the recorded lectures are invaluable in that respect, as they let the international students go back over the lectures and review it as many times as they like and at their own pace. So they can review the first 10 minutes, taking notes, pause it, go back, have another look. And it also helps all students to be able to go back over the diagrams. Some students come prepared with the PowerPoints printed out, some don't, and quite often there are a lot of students saying, can you go back to previous slides to look at the PowerPoints, the graphs, whereas with the recorded lectures they know that they can access them whenever they want to, and I think that's particularly valuable for the international students. I get a lot of emails throughout the year from all students, but a lot from international ones, who have questions, want me to go back over a certain topic, and in the past they haven't been able to review the lecture again, but now with Echo360 they're able to, rather than emailing me and asking me to go back over in the lecture, they can simply go onto Echo360 and get the recorded lecture, review it, work at their own pace, and then if they're still struggling, I can then cover it again. And I think particularly for the revision lectures that we gave in preparation for the exam, it was invaluable for the international students in particular, as they could go back over and look at answers to exam questions, how I marked them, what was expected of them, and I think in that way Echo360 was a very, very useful asset to have. The Echo360 has really helped develop a set of the student skills, again in particular for the international students. I think for a lot of them, obviously English isn't their first language, and so turning up to a lecture and trying to take notes whilst listening is quite a daunting prospect. And so I think Echo360 has really helped them in that they can listen to the lecture, then go back to their rooms, listen to it again on Echo360, sort of go through small sections and then take notes. I think it's a way that they've been able to develop their own skills to suit their own particular needs. So rather than having to take notes, draw graphs and listen at the same time, they can now break it down into a more manageable process for them. So I think that's been one really particular benefit, again, for the international students. Okay, Echo360, it was it was a challenge to start with. Firstly, you had to get used to really sticking right in front of the computer. You've got a bit of movement, but it's sort of a couple of meters right and left. So that is a challenge that you have to get used to, especially if you like sort of walking around and talking to all the different students. So that is one challenge. Another one, you're plugged up to a microphone, which to be honest wasn't anything sort of an obstacle to get over. And I think you plug the microphone in and much easier, and also much easier on the voice as well. So that wasn't a particular challenge. I think one issue we did have was the projector, making sure that the projector was always on when you were using it. It had to make sure it was on before the lecture started, because if it wasn't, it wouldn't come up when you switched over. And there were a couple of issues of switching over to the projector, then going back to the PowerPoints, but on the recorded lecture the PowerPoints no longer showed up. So there were sort of a few hitches with it, but I think once you got used to the fact that you had to make sure it was on before you turned up, then you had to make sure that the projector was always on one particular screen that was being recorded. You know, once you got round that aspect, you know, it was pretty straightforward. So I don't think there were any sort of challenges that it wasn't possible to overcome that really interrupted your flow of the lecture. You know, the first couple of weeks were a bit challenging, but you know, once you got into it, it was pretty easy, and there were huge benefits from it as well. So highly recommend it.